and thank you for joining us for this episode of Talking About Rock. I'm Rob Edwards. Today's guest takes us back to the 70s groove and soul in their music and encompasses that rock radio, what rock radio was built on. Please welcome to the show, Brad and Michael from Cranberry Suit. How's it going, guys?
Good. Going good.
Excellent. Great to have you on the show. So if you can maybe, catch everybody up and give us a little bit of history, maybe Michael, you could help us out. Tell us about how this project came about. You guys, I think, formed in 2019?
Yeah, right about the end of 19. Was looking for a band. Couldn't find anybody that wanted to play original rock and roll in the immediate area of Tucson that I'm from. So I started reaching out to Phoenix and came across Cranberry Suit, which was a pre-existing project, kind of an acoustic deal, maybe a Stephen Stills kind of blind faith feel to it, and sounded good. Vocals were awesome, which was what I was really looking for the type of project that I knew I wanted to put together. So I answered an ad, and the rest is just kind of history. Brad and I got together, had a really common goal, and been working ever since.
Yeah, I think it's really hard right now for original music and original bands to emerge, and for people to give them a break. Some areas of the country are really open to it, it seems, but other places, because as we know, the tribute thing is big. It's a lot harder to break through. But you guys put together, I think, a debut release in 2020, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So we got hit by COVID right after, like literally about 3 weeks after we had started playing and getting things going. We did a show real quick, did a showcase right away. So we, crammed in a bunch of material to get about an hour set prepared. And after we did that, COVID hit and just almost rocked our world, but we were fortunate that everybody was willing to stick through it. And keep
right.
working.
Was that before you recorded the debut, or just after you let it released it? Just after, probably, right?
It was actually just before we started. We had made the decision to like everybody went through the initial lockdown, phase, and the guys were comfortable continuing to write and work together. So we just committed to getting our own material arranged and ready to go in the studio. And late that winter is when we started recording. I'd say after probably that January, February, I want to say we got in the studio and actually were able to start getting some tracks done.
And was this the first time you've been in the studio recording professionally, or you've done that before?
I've been in before. I think we all have.
Yeah, we have. Yes, all of us.
So were you guys writing the material? Did you have material written before, or was it kind of you were working through it as you were there, or how did you put that together?
Kind of just came up with it as we were. We decided we were gonna, do a demo, and I came to these guys with some ideas, and then with the excitement of a new project. Definitely had a bunch of new material, new riffs that I wanted to show them, and we just kind of collaborated for a couple of months, and then went to the studio and tracked it all.
Excellent. It's great that you have that 70s vibe, that 70s groove, and the vocals really shine through also.
Thank you
for all the tracks. Definitely you got that tone and that, like I said, that rock radio feel that we used to get when new music used to come out in the 70s. And I really can't think of anyone that's kind of doing that now, that reinvigorated that type of sound, right? I don't know who would want to answer this, but what made you guys kind of keen on that? Was it just a natural thing? Did it just come naturally, or was it something you thought about?
I think with the songwriting, Mike writes, and I think it's kind of old school because I've always done it this way. I've always been in a band where we had a guitar player that would write a song and I would write lyrics to it. And that's kind of the way we flow. And I think a good way to put it is we write music that we like to listen to. And I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. There's a lot of good bands, a lot of good rock and roll bands that are coming up now with that vibe, Joyous Wolf. I mean, there's quite a few if you really start searching, Raven's Eye and some bands, but we wanted to play music that we want to listen to, that we grew up listening to without, and we're not trying to be trendy or trying to pigeonhole ourselves into a certain genre or a certain way of sounding. It literally is actually the way that we sound. And I think it, like you say, it has a classic vibe to it, without us trying, because that's who we are, without sounding dated, I guess you can put it. Mike, anything you want to add to that?
It's with, I thank you for hearing the vibe of like that old school rock radio feel. For me, you know, my background is heaviest in, you know, I grew up playing hardcore punk and East Coast hardcore, underground metal was really what I kind of came up playing. But at the same time, you know, I grew up 70s and 80s, so my initial influences were, you know, Zeppelin, Thin Lizzy, Robin Trower, Sabbath, you know, things like that. And I got to a point in my playing where I just wanted to immerse myself more in what actually influenced me to be a guitar player. So for me, I was always looking for a band that wanted to do original rock and roll and keep more of that that 70s vibe in particular. I think the biggest influence that I have for the type of tone and vibe that I'm going for is probably going to be Free and Cactus. You know, I like that raw guitar, singer, bass, drums format. And when I found Brad and Cranberry Suit, it was just naturally there. We didn't have to talk about it. We were on the same page. And so the ideas that I had worked with, you know, the ideas that he was coming up with, both tonally and subject matter. So it just kind of worked out. I've been looking for a situation like this for a long time, and you know, everybody wanted to either do covers or you know, death metal or, you know, or black metal or something like that. And you know, I love everything going on, but you know, I just wanted to invest my time in something that I think is a lot more organic.
Yeah, I definitely think the tracks stand out. And like I was saying before, obviously, you know, no one is kind of keying in on this as of yet. So you guys are definitely unique to be doing that. And the songwriting is very unique. You know, I think the first single you guys released was Into Loving You. Can you tell us about the lyrics, how we came up for that? I don't know if Brad, you could tell us about that.
I can tell you the exact spot that I wrote them, actually.
Okay.
And a little plug. We're re-releasing Into Loving You. That's going to be the first single coming out off our new EP, I guess you could say. We redid it, and it sounds just crazy good. I cannot wait for everybody to hear it. But I was actually, what I do is Mike writes such, the way Mike writes, it resonates with me so strongly that I don't even have to really try. And I think if you have to try too hard and overthink writing lyrics, they're not going to be that good. Because if you even listen to rock and roll documentaries, and a lot of the best songs that we love the most were written in like 5 minutes. These guys just, it's just like gave it to them. And so that's kind of how all of our songs happen. Is I just listen to Mike's riff, and he's the riff king, man. I mean, Tony Iommi is the guy, but Mike's just not known like Tony Iommi. I mean, he likes the riff, but and I was listening, and all of a sudden it just came in my head, and I just started thinking about my wife, and I started thinking about situations we've went through, and it just started. I started going along with the riff that he was writing, and it just started rolling. And I was sitting in a little van, and I had to pull over in a parking lot, and it took me about 10 or 15 minutes, and I wrote it all down. I sang it in my head, went through it, and then we got to practice and tried it, and I was like, wow, man, that is crazy, So yeah, just like every song we write, it flows, and we're having a lot of fun. And we must have 25 songs that we have originals that we haven't recorded, maybe 20 of them, or 15 of them. So
yeah, I think you're talking about the songwriting. You definitely hit it on the head there. I think so many of the newer bands don't really get how important the songwriting process is and what you're trying to say. And I think a lot of them nowadays are just putting something together quick and just getting out there, where there doesn't seem to be a lot of thought and feeling behind it. You know what I mean?
Right.
You always had a lot of thought and feeling in those 70s songs. You definitely got that feel, and definitely you guys with the guitar playing and with the vocals, you get that vibe and you get that feel. The next single you guys released, Cranberry, I think it was Cranberry Groove Volume 2, was a great track. It looks like you guys really had fun with that one. I don't know, Michael, if you want to tell us a little bit about that. It sounds like that was great coming up with that.
It's hard to explain in terms of how it happens. The riffs and the vibes just kind of do. I get in a groove, and sometimes I have an idea of what kind of direction I want to go in, and I don't know, Cranberry Groove just I think it's important to play rock and roll that you can rock out to, but I think you should be able to dance to it still, just because it's got a good beat that people can move their bodies to doesn't make it any less rock and roll.
Yes, I think all of our female audience would agree with you on that for sure.
Yeah, right.
Because that's what they always say, it's always, the chicks are always like, I just want to dance.
Right,
So,
exactly. The girls want to dance and the guys want to rock. They're like, you go dance with your friends. I want to rock, right?
It just kind of felt like both things could happen to the riff, and once again, lyrically, Brad just knocked it out of the park. It's when I listen back to our stuff, you wouldn't think that it was co-written the way that it is. It's just so easy, I come up with a riff. If I like it enough to send it off, I figure he'll dig it, and he's going to come up with exactly what I want to hear to it. And that's just Cranberry Suit's the earliest example of that, actually. I think Cranberry Groove, we had that. I think we had that worked out before we even had Into Loving You worked out. And it's just kind of magic the way how easily it came together.
Excellent. Well, I really like the track, so we're going to play the video from that track here for Cranberry Groove Volume 2, and we'll be right back with the guys from Cranberry Suit on Talking About Rock.
Like a hammer dropping down, feel the wheel see. Emotional swells of energy carry us along with each song. Let the music set us free. Oh, now baby, let it. Oh, let it, let it, let it. Let the music. Oh, now let it set us free.
Okay, we're back here on Talking About Rock with Cranberry Suit. Just watched the video for Cranberry Groove. So it kind of set the tone for the whole thing going forward. Looks like you guys are having a lot of fun with that. And then you're releasing some more tracks coming out. You said you're redoing the EP to come out again. You're redoing some production on that, or are you looking to do a full album?
The full album will come. We had a couple of songs that we wanted to take another stab at. We switched up studios and went to a much better production site this time, working out of the Salt Mine Studios in Phoenix. And so I think this time around, we've actually captured exactly what we sound like. So there was a couple of songs, obviously, Into Loving You, we definitely wanted to do again. And there's a couple of new tracks on it this time around. We got a little bit more of not a southern sound, but I don't know, definitely kind of rootsy, little Skinner influence, darker, heavier approach to some stuff, you know. That's a big influence for me. So we got to mess with some things like that as well on this new EP.
Now, are you guys going to put out a physical product, or is it just going to be on the streaming services, or both?
As well. Thinking about doing vinyl for the initial release, maybe doing some colored vinyl, get some artwork going, and get back into to that old vibe. You know, I'd like to make something available, you know, that people would sit down and trip out on the artwork and the liner notes.
Right. That's how it used to be back in the day, right? I remember those days, you know, staring at the album for like a half an hour, trying to figure out what type of meaning of it, how it connected into the music, or maybe it was a whole story.
Right.
That with it, you know, with your big headphones on back in the day, right? Listening to that stuff. And that was great. Yeah. And I think you keyed in on too with the vinyl. Vinyl is becoming really big again for a lot of collectors, a lot of folks. The different, like you said, the colored vinyl, they got the high grade vinyl right now, which I myself really haven't listened to see the you know, monumental differences. I still listen to some vinyl things still, you know, but I haven't gotten the real high grade stuff yet. But I think that's a great idea to do that. I love an artist are still trying to put out a product and still, you know, still making that work. We like to see that happening.
We think it makes I think it makes a deeper connection on the listener. It certainly did with me. You know, as a kid, a lot of what solidified my being a fan was my ability to relate to what I thought was going on, based on, you know, the lyric sheet, the artwork, who they thanked, where it was recorded.
Exactly. Yeah. That's all the stuff myself and my co-host Jerry would be pouring through when we were teens, looking for that, all the people they thanked, or if there was something special, like if it was an Ozzy album, is there a little hidden message in there somewhere or something, something like that, or a Black Sabbath album, there's even some Ozzy albums where they purposely, misquoted something, or they purposely gave somebody's name incorrectly, but we're always looking through that stuff. And I remember back in the day, way back, like when the Kiss albums would come out, right? You'd get some cool stuff in those back in the day, right? You get some stickers, or you would get the Love Gun album with the cardboard gun, kind of cool little weird stuff. But like you said, memorable. It connects with your fans, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So that's really cool, really cool. So Brad, what would you say? I mean, Michael talked a little bit about, what would you say, Brad? What would you say are some of your influences?
My influences, when I was, I think I was probably maybe 12 years old, and I heard Bad Company from Bad Company. And the first time I heard that, it was like a light switch went on inside my head. And from that moment on, I wanted to be a rock and roll singer. Yeah. And Paul Rodgers, to me, is the epitome. He's the GOAT. There's no one ever going to be like Paul Rodgers. You
always know when it's Paul Rodgers singing a song. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, no. I mean, a lot of people have been mimicked, and even Plant. I love Plant, but a lot of people can sound like Plant. No one sounds like Rodgers. So that was my earliest influence. And then I remember I was in a camper, and my cousin's husband was a rock and roller, and I was still somewhat of a kid. And they put me up in the top of the camper while we drove to Walla Walla, Washington. And he gave me his tapes and the headphones, and I heard Judas Priest. And when I heard Rob Halford, that brought me to a whole nother level. And I could not believe somebody could do that with their voice. And like I say, it just solidified what I wanted to do. And as I progressed in life, then I started listening, and I heard Marvin Gaye and Otis Redding and all of this.
Right, you got to see where it all came from, where it all started. Right. Exactly.
Yeah, it molded me. And of course, when I was younger, I was trying to sound like this guy or trying to sound like that guy. And I think what happened, naturally, is now I just don't even think about anybody else. I just sing, and that's actually what I sound like. And I don't think I sound like anybody. I think there's hints of a little bit of this and that, but I've tried to peg myself, because everybody wants to say that you sound like so and so, or you sound, that's just the natural reaction to that band sounds like this band, and I really can't figure out who I sound like. So
right, I would agree with you. There's hints of different things in there. There's a little bit of hints of Bad Company in there. There's a little bit of hints of Leonard Skinner and some of the stuff I listen to. Little hints of it, but I totally agree with what you're saying. Definitely. Yep. Yeah. And for what you're saying, yeah, I know Rob Halford, when I heard Judas Priest myself, yeah, I was blown away. And we are so happy these guys are finally getting the recognition they deserve after years and years, getting put in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for whatever reason. I don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you.
They needed to be in there. They need to get their foot in the door for the next version of metal artists. Yeah. Okay, I'm done with my rant, but I just wanted to say.
No, I agree with you 100%. I'm there with you. Yeah, Dolly Parton, right?
Yeah, I didn't understand that, and then when she stepped up and said, I'd like to be removed.
I was so proud.
And yeah, I'm like, wow, this lady's got class for sure. We all knew she did, but it was just like shown again, right? And then they're like, oh no, we're not going to remove you. We want to make money off your name. We're not going to remove you.
There you go. Once again, I love Dolly Parton, right?
Yes, but love Dolly Parton. She's a great performer, no doubt about it. No one else sounds like her.
Not getting in, yeah. Metallica's not getting into the Country Hall of Fame. They're just not going to.
Yeah. It's just, that list is, I went there a couple months ago, and I just walked up to people and started asking them stuff. And the everyday folks that go there, they don't even care anymore. They're just like, I don't, they don't care. But for us people that music is still real important to, it's like, we don't understand this stuff. We don't get it. but whatever. So at least Priest got in this time. You know, I was pushing it for them. Pat Benatar got in.
Yeah,
Amazing people that deserve it, no doubt, no doubt.
not bad company.
Not yeah.
I don't know, right?
Yeah, I put that on our Facebook page the other day. Someone came up with this. Here's a list of people that haven't gotten in yet that should have long time ago. You know,
Yeah.
and you're still holding your hands up like, really? You know,
Yeah.
but Eminem's going in, but these guys aren't going in.
Right. Yeah.
I don't get it, but whatever. Whatever, that's the way it goes. But anyway, I'm sorry, we're getting off track here a little bit. So yeah, next thing I want to talk about is you guys got your latest release out, On the Run, and you got a video that you put out for that. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that song? I don't know who would like to take that.
On the Run was just a good feel good song. I've got a pretty extensive background in motorcycles, and where it's funny, I finally got a bike with a stereo and all that stuff in it, and I never listened to it because I really just like the sound of the wind when I'm on the road in my ears. But On the Run felt like a riff that anybody would imagine or be able to relate to with a bike ride or you know, just cruising in a cool sled on a country road, you know, hanging out with your chick and living that American dream, you know, one weekend at a time.
Yeah, I think it's a great track, and I think people really enjoy it. We're going to play the video for that here. We'll pump that in here quick for the video for On the Run from Cranberry Suit on Talking About Rock.
Had a rambling soul. It's in my blood, something I can't control. Security, I can't tie down. Freedom is the wheels going round. It's something my eyes can't see. Out in the distance, my mind roams free. Just you and me in a country road.
Okay, we're back here on Talking About Rock with Cranberry Suit. Just checked out the video for On the Run. So it's great. You guys are pumping out the singles here. Do you guys got some dates coming up that you're going to be playing yet? You got some shows booked?
We do. We have June 4th. We're going to be playing at The Rock in Tucson. And we're going to be supporting Raw. And it's going to be Raw, I think, above Snakes. And Killakoi was going to be there. I don't think Killakoi is going to be there. And I think there's two other bands. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't remember. But if you remember Raw, they're a really good band.
Right.
So we're really looking forward to that. It's a really good venue. And then June 8th or July 8th. Is it July, Mike?
Yeah, July 8th at Chopper John's up in Phoenix. It'll be us and Thunder Rosa, some friends of ours from Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
And then we'll be back in Tucson with them at a bar called The Edge. And it'll be Thunder Rosa, Cranberry Suit, and Burn Bridges, another band that we play with from Phoenix from time to time.
Excellent. That sounds like a great show. So if folks want more information about you guys, should they go to your website, Brad, or should they check out on Facebook? What should they do?
Yeah, you can actually go to cranberrysuit.com, which is our website, or you can find us on Facebook, on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram, even Spotify, which is almost a social media site nowadays. So you can find us on there too. And that way you can also keep up with the singles. We're gonna start releasing singles here pretty quick. Probably maybe every 2 weeks or week, however we work it out. We're releasing a single until we have this new EP released, and then hopefully we can start working on doing a swing through some multi-states here coming up pretty soon.
Cool, great. That sounds excellent. Well, please keep us informed, and we really appreciate you guys stopping by and chatting with us today. Thank you so much, and we look forward to the release of the whole album coming out eventually after your singles, and maybe check back in with us. That'd be great.
Awesome.
But for all you folks out there, if you have comments or questions for us, please feel free to email us at talkingaboutrock@gmail.com. Please like us and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And as always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel for all our interviews. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it.
Peace.
All right. Have a great night.
You too, man.